I'm Robert Anderson and welcome to the Tourist Route. In this episode I am visiting the vibrant capital of Spain, Madrid. My journey commenced in Seville, where I opted for the comfort and efficiency of an early morning high-speed train provided by the train company Iryo. Treating myself to a first-class ticket, I embarked on a Hitachi Bombardier ETR-1000 that promised a 3-hour journey to the capital. Upon boarding, the train crew extended a warm welcome and I went to find my seat. My initial impressions were nothing short of amazement at the modern and shiny interior of this train carriage. There were racks for my big suitcase, and the seats, equipped with power sockets and a recliner, offered exceptional comfort. There was lots of legroom, a tray table ideal for my laptop. The carriage had a variety of single and double seat options, deep overhead racks, and a screen displaying key journey information. The Iberian breakfast pre-ordered with my ticket turned out to be an absolute delight. A special note of appreciation goes to the exceptional train crew who communicated seamlessly in perfect English, a gesture I always appreciate. The journey felt surprisingly short, with only a couple of stops before we punctually arrived at Madrid Atocha train station. There are two high-speed rail companies that run between Seville and Madrid, Iryo and Renfe. I travelled on the Iryo and I was very impressed by their service. Trains from Seville to Madrid run frequently and the journey time is around 3 hours. Prices start about €35 for a single second-class ticket. My first stop in Madrid was the Museo del Prado, conveniently located in the heart of the city, just a 15-minute walk from the Atocha train station. The Prado stands as Spain's national gallery, housed in a magnificent building that showcases some of the world's most exquisite art. The collection includes masterpieces from renowned artists such as 𝐦𝐨𝐫𝐿, Raphael, Titian, Rembrandt, Goya, and many more. While I would have loved to have given you a glimpse inside this stunning museum and share some of its treasured artworks, a recurring theme in this video is this particular sign. Unfortunately, cameras were prohibited inside and I wasn't allowed to film or take photos. A bit of a challenge for a travel blogger. Nevertheless, I wholeheartedly respect the rules and I can confidently recommend the Museo del Prado as a must-visit attraction in Madrid. Madrid's most sought-after attraction is undoubtedly the Prado. To avoid spending an hour in line, I recommend booking a skip-the-line ticket online in advance. Navigating this expansive museum can be a bit challenging, despite having a map and following signs. Remember, photography and filming are not permitted inside. And I would allocate about 3 hours to explore the main collection. It's a big place. Additionally, be prepared to leave your bags and backpacks in the complimentary cloakroom, and there are facilities like a cafe and toilets available on site. Next on my itinerary was the Reina Sofia, Madrid's modern art gallery. I secured my ticket in advance, allowing me to bypass a relatively small line at around 4 PM. Although the facade looks very modern, the gallery is housed in an old building, evidence as you step inside. While there was exhibition space on the ground floor, a helpful staff member directed me to the second floor, which held the main collection. Similar to the Prado, there was a restriction on video and photography, a fact I discovered firsthand when attempting to film a collection of Spanish Civil War posters. Oops. The collection itself is diverse, featuring remarkable pieces from artists such as Picasso, Dali, and Juan Miró. Rooms were dedicated to architectural sketches, posters, sculptures, 3D models, and more. Personally, I found the paintings and posters particularly appealing, though the other elements may resonate differently with others. I bought my ticket in advance, but there wasn't a queue in the late afternoon. The museum's collection is on the second floor, where there are stairs and a lift. Temporary exhibitions are on the ground floor. You are not allowed to film or take photos inside, and I would plan to spend about 2 hours here to see the main collection. You will need to leave your bags in their cloakroom, and there is a cafe and toilets on site. On day 2, I explored the Thyssen-Bornemisza National Museum, and the great thing was they allowed filming and photography. This National Museum spans 3 floors, offering art from the 13th to the 20th century. As a devoted enthusiast of Impressionist art, I was delighted to discover a splendid 19th century collection, featuring exceptional works by Monet, Renoir, Degas, Pissarro, Gauguin, Cézanne, and Vincent van Gogh. The museum had other works from the likes of Rembrandt, Rubens, Picasso, Munch, Kandinsky, Salvador Dali, Paul Klee, Warhol, Francis Bacon, and Roy Lichtenstein. My visit to this museum was truly enjoyable. It was a wonderful gallery housing an impressive collection for art enthusiasts of all kinds. I bought my ticket in advance, but you can buy a ticket on the door. I would plan to spend 2 to 3 hours here to see the main collection. You will also need to leave your bags and backpacks in the free locker room, and there is a cafe and toilets on site. Going for a city walk, I came to the Gran Via. Often referred to as the Broadway of Madrid, it's one of the city's most iconic and bustling streets. Lined with a mix of historic and modern buildings, this grand avenue is a hub for shopping, entertainment, and vibrant city life. At the end of the Gran Via, you come to Plaza de Espana, a square known for its grandeur and architecture. It's dominated by the iconic monument to Miguel de Cervantes, who wrote Don Quixote. Here you can relax among the fountains, sculptures, or by the reflecting pool, making it a picturesque destination for both locals and visitors. One warning is that it is right next to the main road, so it's not as quiet as you might like. Not far from Plaza de Espana is the Royal Palace, a magnificent building boasting a staggering 3,418 rooms, making it the largest royal palace in Europe. Constructed in the late 18th century, it served as the royal residence but is now just used for ceremonial purposes. I had booked my entrance ticket in advance to avoid the extensive queue, and I purchased the audio tour for a more immersive experience, which I would recommend for your tour. Climbing the grand staircase marked the commencement of the tour, unveiling the opulence and grandeur of the palace. The Hall of Columns, utilised for official greetings and formal occasions, was a standout feature, until this sign came back to haunt me. No photos or filming beyond this point. Without even holding my camera, a friendly security guard gave me a lecture about why I wasn't allowed to film. So I couldn't capture video of the throne room, the chapel, the gala dining room, or the mesmerising Gaspani salon. Each room is opulent, artistically significant, and has historical importance, making a visit highly recommended. Securing my ticket in advance proved to be a good decision, given the lengthy queue for the on-the-day purchases. Anticipating a visit of about 2 to 3 hours, I highly recommend the insightful audio tour. Group and private tours are also available, but these will require pre-planning. Bags and backpacks aren't allowed in the palace, but you can store them for free in the cloakroom. There are stairs to climb to the main staterooms, but it's flat after that. Strict security measures prohibit photography or filming within the main palace, and there is an on-site cafe and toilet facilities. After the palace, I walked across the road to the Cathedral Almudena. The cathedral is a prominent site with its striking double bell towers. Its construction spanned over a century, resulting in a visually striking cathedral with intricate detailing. As a tourist, you need to visit the viewpoint on the dome, which offers the best view in Madrid. It also gives you a closer look at the external detail of the cathedral, especially the apostle statues. I hadn't booked this in advance, and I paid €7 at the door for access to the museum and the viewpoint. Access to the cathedral is free, but if you want to go to the museum and the dome, this was €7. The museum is quite small and all the descriptions are in Spanish. There is a steep winding climb to the top, but there is also a lift. I would plan to spend 1 to 2 hours here. There is an audio tour and you can plan a guided tour in advance. There are toilets on site. Plaza Mayor is a 15-minute walk from the palace and is Madrid's main square. Lined with cafes and shops, Plaza Mayor is a popular spot for locals and tourists alike to enjoy the lively atmosphere, indulge in delicious Spanish cuisine and immerse themselves in the city's dynamic energy. The centrepiece of the plaza is a statue of King Felipe III, adding a regal touch to the surroundings. A word of warning, street sellers operate in this area and can be quite pushy. I continued to walk down to Plaza Sol, which is in a bustling and iconic public space in the heart of Madrid. When I was there, I had some major construction going on, but the main reason to visit was to see the famous statue of a bear and a strawberry tree, symbolising Madrid since the 13th century. It was a very good statue, but from photos I was expecting something a bit bigger. The following day I hopped into an Uber and headed to the Bernabeu, the iconic home of Real Madrid, a football team famous for winning the European Cup more times than any other club. When I arrived, the stadium was undergoing a significant renovation and I was surrounded by construction. Inside, the stadium houses a popular museum featuring extensive trophy rooms showcasing the club's victories throughout the decades, accompanied by a historical timeline on the wall. The highlight is the Champions League trophy room, displaying all the cups Real Madrid has won, including the most recent one in 2022 against Liverpool in Paris. Despite the ongoing renovation, visitors had the opportunity to peer over the pitch, albeit in a state of disarray during my visit. A return trip is definitely on my agenda once the renovations are complete. The visit concluded with a photo opportunity alongside a replica of the Champions League Cup. You can buy tickets at the venue, but they are more expensive, so I advise buying them online in advance. There are 3 types of ticket, but they just seem to give you more flexibility on when you can visit. There is a guided tour with the top tier. I plan to spend 1 to 2 hours here. The tour is really interesting but quite short. There is construction going on between 2023 and 2024. There are a lot of stairs to climb up and down, and there are some restrictions for people with limited mobility. There are toilets on site. Madrid is a beautiful city, full of culture, history and great food. Unlike a lot of other capital cities in Europe, this one didn't come with a hefty price tag. I had just over 48 hours here, but that wasn't enough to do all the sites, and I suggest you need at least 3 or 4 days. I'd like to do a part 2 to this video in the near future with what I've missed. It's a perfect place for a long weekend, and although there are buses, a metro and overground trains, most attractions are within walking distance of one another. There is a Madrid transport pass which you can buy for up to 7 days. This will give you access to the metro and buses. There is also a Madrid City card which will give you discounts or skip the line access to some of the city's main attractions. It also has a limited travel pass on it too. These can be purchased for between 1 to 5 days. I used the metro once when I was there and I did find it hard to work out. It's not as advanced as London or Paris, so suggest some forward planning if you do use it. With all cities in Spain, most restaurants close in the early evening and won't open again until 8 or 9 at night. If you're like me and prefer dinner at around 6 or 7, ask your hotel, as many restaurants have arrangements with hotels to remain open for tourists. My visit to Madrid was in July and it was very hot, on average 36 degrees C. So if you can't stand the heat, a visit between October to April might be best when it's a bit cooler. Whether you're strolling through its historic streets, indulging in world-class museums or savouring the local gastronomy, Madrid has something for everyone and I strongly recommend a visit. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of The Tourist Route. I hope you enjoyed the journey and found some inspiration for your next trip. If you liked what you watched, please give me a thumbs up and don't forget to share and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss more travel adventures coming to this channel. For an extra dose of travel tips, helpful links and a deeper dive into all the destinations I've covered, head over to thetouristrute.com.